Have you seen the Gen Z trend of I need to touch grass?
No.
So there's this trend, I guess, on TikTok or social media of Gen Z people saying, I need to go touch grass.
Huh.
And I think it's about where they're in an addiction loop. They're on their phones nonstop. They've been locked on their screens or they haven't gone outside and they feel like they need to go and actually feel the grass
Interesting.
and feel connected to
Yes.
something that's not just a digital device
Yes.
of just obsession or self-indulgence or whatever scarcity mindset of what you're lacking.
Yes.
What happens when we go and touch the ground and touch the grass, feel the dirt? Is there something that shifts instantly in our bodies when we touch grass?
I mean, I think it kind of goes back to this connection element that I think you feel more connected to the physical world. There's this really interesting book called the Finnish Way, and it's kind of cliche that the Nordic countries or the Scandinavian countries are just better at everything and they're happier. But one of the main things that the Finns do is they make sure they are out in nature all the time, even swimming in nature in really, really cold temperatures. Yeah. Yes. And so one thing that we haven't talked about much.
I've been to Poland and I've spent a week in Poland with Wim Hof, just being in frozen rivers. Mm-hmm. I mean, not completely frozen, but like very cold rivers.
Yes.
We climbed a mountain that was snow and ice, like without clothes on, essentially, like just shorts and shoes. And it was just like extreme cold, but you felt happier, even though it was uncomfortable.
Yes.
It was for a purpose. It was
Right.
controlled. It wasn't
Right.
like we're going to sit here for hours, and
Right.
like die.
Right.
It was extreme heat and extreme cold. We were doing 5 to 10 minutes on like ice baths and all this stuff. And there was something about feeling the cold air,
Yep.
being in cold water,
Yep.
jumping off of a cliff into a frozen river.
Yep.
It was something about being in barefoot and like skin to skin with the elements.
Yes.
That was very healing.
Yes.
It was uncomfortable, but it was healing, freeing, invigorating,
Yes.
life-giving, all these things.
Yes. And I think that's one thing we haven't, because it's hard, these studies are harder to do. We've mostly focused on the visual of nature, the sounds of nature, but the tactile of nature is also really, really important. And so I think you're touching the grass. There's something about the feel of nature that's important, the bark of nature. There have been these studies done in rodents where they give rodents like plastic toys versus like toys made of that are like real wood. Right. And the rodents' brains, like they have more synapses when they have the real.
Really?
Yeah. So again, like we evolved in nature. This environment that we built is very, very artificial, right? We weren't meant to like sit on a phone and touch this, artificial thing. We're meant to like touch the real
rocks,
the
grass,
real
bark.
thing, to do things with our hands. And so, that could be another element to it too.
You've got 4 kids. How do you fight against the temptations of the modern world and them being stuck in a school building all day and getting 10 minutes of recess or whatever it is, and them being on computers now and how they're learning versus with books? And just how do you deal with all this, knowing that you're a busy professor with a lot of responsibilities and your kids are in school, I'm assuming, but the side effects of all the things that they're experiencing.
Yep.
How do you combat against modern society, peer pressure, school systems that are slow to evolve and change, to have more things for kids to feel in nature? Like, how do you deal with this?
It's challenging. But I think, it's moderation. Like we let our kids watch TV. Our oldest daughter, she has a cell phone. We don't let them have any social media. They don't have that. And we chose to live we were lucky, we're fortunate. We chose to live in a neighborhood that's close to 2 nature trails, so the kids can go out there. Right now, as we're having this conversation, my kids are at my wife's family's cottage that's like 2 hours north of Toronto, where they're fishing.
Wow, that's cool.
So we try, when we have the free time, we try to make it nature time.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
Yeah.
And I think this is one thing, Lewis, that maybe we can all do together is that let's make it easier, right? I mean, this is important. And one thing that drives me crazy about schools is that they are kind of cutting recess. And imagine this. So right now they want to have an 8-hour school day. They don't want to give the kids too many breaks because they want to give them as much instruction as possible. But if 4 hours through the school day, if you're in directed attention fatigue state, you might not be getting anything out of the last 4 hours.
Nothing.
So imagine this. Imagine it's still the 8-hour school day. It's 6 hours of classroom instruction and 2 hours of being out in nature.
Play outside.
Right.
It'd be amazing.
It's possible. I mean, it's possible that the kids might actually learn more. Do better. So, and I think if I say that to people, they kind of just, laugh at me like, what is this, sounds too hippie or something like that. But it is possible because just powering through doesn't seem like it works. Just like, Matt Walker talked about sleep, right? It used to be thought, oh, you'll sleep when you're dead. You don't need sleep. No, it turns out if you don't sleep, you're going to die.
Yeah, earlier,
right? And I think we're kind of saying the same thing about nature, that if we're not interacting with nature and doing things in nature, we're just not going to be our best selves.
I've got twins on the way, and it's 2025, and so I'm going to have 2 kids coming into the world in 2025. If you could say, hypothetically, in a perfect world, this is how you should set up your structure for your kids to thrive the best way possible. Whereas now when I see kids get out of the hospital or they're getting, 1 million injections and they're put in plastic blankets right away, they've got shoes on their feet, they're covered in synthetic clothing right away, they probably don't even touch the ground, nature anymore, and they're put in controlled environments, perfect temperature, and then set in schools and industrial looking buildings for 20 something years of their life. If you could give a prescription for how parents could raise kids to try to set better conditions. Now, they may not have the luxuries or the ability to move or create the environment, but if you could have the perfect environment as an environmental neuroscientist that could try to optimize the brain and the body connection with kids today, what environment would you create for them? How frequently would they be in nature? What would you eliminate from their lives, and what would you add?
I mean, I think again, it's gonna have a lot of real nature in their lives all the time. And one thing that we find too in our studies, adults typically like nature, but we've also done studies with kids, and we say, we show them pictures. Like, what picture do you like? Do you like this nature picture more, this urban picture more? The kids liked urban better.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
We don't know exactly.
If you show
why.
like a photo of like a beautiful lake and mountains, and you show a photo of New York City, like buildings,
Yeah,
the kids will gravitate towards the city.
that's right.
Interesting.
And it's only when they get older do they start to like nature more. So at 4 and 5, they prefer urban. As they get older, they start to like nature more.
Is it because it's so like foreign to them? Your involuntary attention is like, oh, it's this shiny thing, it's different.
And that could be part of it. Maybe the nature is too boring to them to some extent. And even we have some collaborators in the UK. You can't ask a 6-month-old, what do you like better? But you can see what they look at. And these 6-month-olds look at urban.
It's got more attention though, grabbing. It's like if you looked at whatever, Dora the Explorer or something, like a cartoon,
Right.
It's got to grab your attention,
Right.
Versus looking outside, you could be like, what is this shiny bright light?
Right.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.